Hi, parents. I am Mr. Niemis, and I am your child's science teacher, and I'm making you a video. And the reason that I'm making you a video is because this year in science is going to be probably a little bit unique for your child with the way that I run my classroom. And I think that you're going to find it's very beneficial for them. So I made you a video so you can kind of get an idea of what they're going to be, how they're going to be learning. But also, I made a video for you because I want you to know that because of the way I teach my class, it allows a whole lot of new opportunities for parents to be a lot more involved in learning than they ever have been before. So one of the main differences that I do, as you can probably already tell, is that I make videos. And what I mean by that is I will never stand in front of a class and lecture in front of a whiteboard. And instead, what I've already done is I've recorded all my lessons for them. And there's a lot of reasons that I do that. And so just a few of them is that it allows them to take control over their own learning. So what I mean by that is if a child needs to slow down a little bit and rewind things and rewatch things, they have the ability now to do so. Or if they already know some material, they can fast forward through it or even skip over parts. And it also gives them the content wherever they are. Where in the past a teacher would teach a lesson and then they would leave and then the lesson was basically gone besides what they wrote down. Now you have the video wherever you need to. So that's incredibly beneficial if you're ever absent, that you have access to the lesson. It's incredibly beneficial when you're studying for a test or you need to rewatch some stuff at home to truly try to master the concepts. And as a parent, it's been extremely beneficial to them because what happens now is you now can watch the lessons with your child. So if they're ever struggling or need help, you can watch it with them. Or just if you're curious and want to keep up with what we're doing in class, you can watch the exact lesson that they're watching so you keep up with what we're doing in class. A lot of parents in the past have found this to be very helpful for them. So I hope it's also helpful for you this year. Um, so besides the fact that I record my lessons and it's beneficial for all the reasons I already said, what it does for me as a teacher is it frees me up. So instead of in front of the class where I'm just talking to a group of students, now I'm walking around the class and I'm asking really good questions and I'm checking with people and helping any student who needs help and pushing the student who wants to go a little bit further in their knowledge. So I'm still very active in the classroom. I'm just kind of walking all around having a lot more individual conversations with your child along the way. Okay, so besides the video, I want to also kind of show you some of the pieces of my website which also describe kind of the way that I do my teaching. So here's my website. It'll be in the description of this video. So let's just choose a topic. Let's say cells, because that's what we're going to be learning about very soon. And we'll go with this one. Okay, so as you can see, the way I set up my classroom is I basically give them the questions that they need to know, and then I give them, my video. But along with my video, I also provide for them a whole lot of other resources. So the first one I want to just kind of show you right now is this thing called Sporkle. It's a website, and the reason it's really beneficial for you and for the students is it's essentially like an online study guide. And what happens is that a lot of times students, when they're trying to master the concepts or study or anything like that, they'll do these kind of over and over again, really trying to make sure that they get the content. And so it's really beneficial for you as a parent because now you can really gauge where your child's understanding of a topic is. So what I mean by that is instead of just simply asking, hey, are you getting the information? And maybe not truly understanding whether or not they do or they don't, what a lot of parents will do is they'll say, all right, just go ahead and just do the Sporkle. It takes like 30 seconds to 1 minute, depending on the Sporkle. And it'll give you a score at the end. So if the score is a 95, 100, then you can be confident and your child can be confident that they're understanding the material. But if they score a little bit lower, then you kind of have two options from there. So if they get a score, like I say, 60 or 40 or whatever it ends up being, you then can know that they're having a hard time with some of the concepts, and then we can work with them. So whether it's you working with them at home or you can encourage them to come see me, I'm available all the time at lunch and common time. I'm constantly available to help whoever needs some help. So it's a really good tool to figure out kind of where you're at. But as you see, there's a whole lot more than just the Sporkle. So this is kind of the other component of my teaching that's a little bit unique, and again, I think very beneficial. So what I do is, out of the thousands of resources that are out there probably on the internet, I either make some of my own or I go out and I find the best ones for a student of this topic. there's a lot of thought that goes into these choices. I don't just Google cells and put the first 7 links I put on there. So I kind of want to talk you through that. So what I almost always do, besides my video, is I put some other type of video on there that's a lot better at their video editing. Usually it's kind of cartoony or something a little bit more kid-friendly that can relate to the topic and usually be more enjoyable to watch. So here I put a cartoon video and I put a brain pop, which is kind of like another cartoon video. I usually put a song. A lot of students respond well because there's a lot of science songs out there, which is awesome. So I almost always put some sort of song because it's kind of catchy and some of the students really like the musical aspect of it, okay? Like I said to you, I already put the sporkles, and I almost always put a couple websites, usually interactive, things that you can kind of explore on your own. You see this is a game, this is one where you build your own cell, and this is another game. So because some students I know learn best from games, some learn best from kind of moving and doing, where others say can get away with just watching the videos, or even just my video. And then I always have an option for the textbook pages, because sometimes students just want to read, they want to get away from the computer and just kind of take the time and just look over some of the pages. And then here I put hands-on. This is something I really want to drive home. There's a big misconception sometimes that with this style of teaching, your child's going to be sitting every day in front of a computer learning, and that could not be farther from the truth. So in a 5-day learning period, there might be 1 or 2 days that they're kind of doing this style of learning in which they're choosing their learning and they are on the computer, but the other days are going to be full of hands-on activities and labs and discussions and games in class and all sorts of non-computer things. So I want to make sure that that's very, very clear that this is not going to be a computer class. But something I said here, I don't know if you picked up on, I said choice. Now, this is very big in my philosophy of teaching, and it's also challenging for students in the beginning. So here's what I mean. Instead of a typical classroom where I'd say, all right, we're all going to do this, now you're all going to explore this website, and now you're all going to do this, and everyone's doing the same thing at the same time, there's almost nobody doing the same thing at the same time in my classroom, because the way it works is I tell them, by the end of this class or the next class, I'd like to make sure that you're comfortable with these questions that are up here. And then you decide how is the best way with your learning style to get to that end goal. So for some people, it's going to be watch a video and then do a sporkle and then maybe watch a cartoon video. For others, they don't even want to watch the video. Maybe they want to read the textbook first and then try the online game and then ultimately do a sporkle to test their knowledge. So this is very challenging for students at first to figure out what is the best option for me and how do I learn best. So I do a whole lot of work in the beginning, really helping them reflect on their learning and analyze how do they learn best. Are they visual? Are they auditory? Do they work best sitting with someone else? Do they work better on their own? So we do a lot of that, and I encourage them to experiment and try and be okay failing in the beginning and getting things wrong. So I encourage you to do the same thing of helping them decide how do they learn best, because you will see little by little as the year goes on, it's really pretty amazing because they start to figure out exactly how they learn best and they really know, and then it runs so smoothly and they learn so efficiently because every child is learning exactly the way that is the best for that individual student. And the learning is exponential, as if compared to me sitting there and talking to them and making them do all of exactly the same thing. So the choice is a huge component that I feel is extremely important. So what I want to talk about is a couple other things, and that's this part down here is that almost every single topic I do, I provide either a crash course video, if you've ever heard of them, or some other resource that is basically what we're learning only at the high school level. So here I know they're going to see a lot of these topics again at the high school level, obviously in a much more in depth. So I always try to provide resources of almost a high school level because a lot of students are ready to go to that next level or at least be exposed to it. So I want to tell you this because a lot of times I get asked the question like, what can my child do that's going to be a little further beyond the curriculum? And this is an easy place to start. And I want to also show you, if you go back to my homepage, I have something called Deeper Learning. I always provide opportunities for students to kind of explore some other science. So what I've done is I've kind of compiled 5 or 6 of my absolute favorite resources that are really good for children to explore science on their own. And I give them a lot of time in class to do this as well. So if you're ever looking for a child to go beyond the curriculum, the deeper learning links or just the links that I provide them within the lesson are a really strong way to do that. Okay. I want to talk to you just real brief about homework because sometimes this comes up from a parent point of view. I get the question of, you don't really give homework. And it's true and it's not true. So I don't give the typical, like, tonight's homework is 5 questions, on page 34. But you're going to see your child's still going to do a lot of work at home with this style of learning, because a lot of times, like I said, kids will go home and they'll rewatch a video, or they'll do a sporkle, or they want to study and watch the video they never got a chance to watch, or that kind of thing. So the whole point of homework in my eyes is, if you need it, if you need to reinforce some of the concepts, then I provided the opportunity for you. But if you don't need to, then you don't necessarily need to do extra work. So that's, again, one of my big philosophies. So thank you. Thank you for listening. If you made it to the end of this video, then thanks for that. But I'm really looking forward to having a solid partnership with you, and I am looking forward to another wonderful school year. So thank you as always for your support. And if you have any questions about anything, please email me. That's also below in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching.